let's go. I'm going to talk about animating SVG with JavaScript. And the reason why I wanted to present this topic because I wanted to kind of connect with some people who are transitioning from some the graphic design background. So this, you may find this interesting. But also, back in the day, I used to do a lot of presentations, training presentations for GM and Ford and Flash. And in about 2011, one of our clients got iPad for Christmas, and all of a sudden none of the course worked. So we had to find some other ways. So we switched to HTML5, but this was a really cool way to present some stuff too. So we'll talk a little bit about how to do SVG animation with JavaScript. So first of all, what is an SVG? These are scalable vector graphics, and they've been around since about '99. The nice thing about them, unlike a JPEG or PNG, they actually it's an actual XML language with instructions. These are paths that you instruct the browser to draw. You can draw different elements such as circles, rectangles, complex curves, support gradients, filter effects, mask animations, and the nicest thing, which we'll talk about today more, is you can actually grab any of these components. Kind of think about it as this grabbing down with jQuery, but only you can have some. There are some JavaScript frameworks that you can use that can manipulate all these elements with JavaScript. So let's understand what SVG is. It's like I said, it's an XML format. So these are instructions, but you can also use graphic design programs such as Inkscape, Illustrator, or Sketch. Inkscape is open source, and it's all free. Pretty good program. Here's a quick example of what SVG code looks like. Basically, you start with an SVG tag, provide some instructions. So this is a basic one. What this would do is this would draw a little shape like this. You have a red rectangle, specify 100% width height based on the canvas defined, specify the circle. This is your radius, center point, fill green, and then for text there's a special label for text. It's a pretty simple one. I have a couple of complex ones we want to take a look at. This would be a more complex shape, and basically these are paths. You definitely don't want to do this by hand. That's why you may want to do this using a graphic design software such as Illustrator or Inkscape, because there's no way. But basically these are paths instructions, and you kind of tell it where to start, where to draw the line, where to do the curve, where to do the fill, and so forth. So how do we animate it? There are quite a few JavaScript animation frameworks that you can use to animate SVG. Vivis, D3, SVG.js, Raphael, which is the grandfather of Snap, and today I want to focus a bit more on Snap. It's a really powerful library, and this is what we've been using for our presentations. Snap is a really powerful library. It's it's written by the same author who wrote Raphael. However, the nice thing about Snap is more lightweight because it doesn't focus on all the browsers such as A6 or 8. So you can really focus on some of the more advanced features such as masking, filtering, gradients. And you can just go to snap.svg.io, very in-depth documentation, very powerful examples. And all right, so how do you work with Snap? You start with the quick. You define your layer, create different circles, specify coordinates, or you can group them and animate. Just if you have ever worked with TweenMax script library, you can also supply, starting point, where you want to go, easing, and then your callback handler. Now, before I do that, let's look at some really cool stuff. So first of all, this is what Snap SVG looks like without really much animation. Now, if we were to add some code with JavaScript, it becomes a fully interactive graphic. You can do the menu, home is closed, and do different stuff. Now, this is what actually inspired me to do SVG animations. You guys all recall what that is. So if you just look at SVG by itself, which I have it here, this is the scene, this is the Hill Valley SVG by itself, doesn't do much. All right. And then if you animate it, there it is.